Hello, everyone. I know I don't usually come on here and talk to you guys, usually because once I start, I don't ever shut up. But I did want to let you know I'm going to do a songwriting course at Soul Brew, the St. James location, starting in January 8th. This is going to be a 4 week course. We're going to meet once a week for 2 hours. There'll be some take home work and exercises, but nothing too crazy. The goal being for each person to have a completed song by the end of the course to perform in an open mic night if they choose. You don't have to, but I think that would be pretty cool. So, what is the course? Like I said, it's 4 weeks. It's designed to intro and refine the process of songwriting. So, whether you've never written a song before, you've just started, or you've been writing for a while and maybe you just want to be exposed to different processes or upgrade what you're doing, I think there's value to be had in all different levels of skill and experience, right? It's not just meant to be a basic overview. It also is going to offer sort of sophisticated processes and approaches that I've implemented and I've seen other successful artists implement throughout working with them and things like that. The key is becoming aware of what we want to say and how to say it. Perfecting that, I can't stress enough, is what makes or breaks your artistry. It really is the connection point to the listener. Is how am I transmuting my human experience in a way that's unique to me, but also hits on this universal truth to you and to everybody, right? Where you go, oh shit, I know what this person feels because I felt it too. You know what I mean? And that can be done through music, through lyrics, right? There's a multitude of ways to execute this. But ultimately, you have to know what you're aiming at, the target, right? And that the more clear you are at what you're aiming at and the more precise your tools are to hit that target, the better your end result will always be. The course emphasis, I guess this was kind of in sections, but mainly we want to, like I said, focus on process for this course. Uh, right, there's no one way. It says it right here, but I want to provide sort of a baseline route, like I said, or examples of routes to give people just points in a starting block. Uh, Music is math, so pretty much certain stuff goes together. You're not going to have to invent anything brand new, right? There's sort of roadmaps, emotional roadmaps, and things that are already set up for you in music theory that you're going to get sort of access to. You probably know already, I would assume, if you're interested in this course, but at least just an overview if people don't have that. Then I want to present the problem and the metaphor arc idea. I learned this from Paul Schrader. He's a screenwriter. He wrote Taxi Driver, and he actually teaches a screenwriting course where this is how he sort of structures his course. And I was like, oh wow, this really marries well to songwriting. So, most good writing and connective writing is going to start with a character or perspective that has a problem, and then a metaphor or multiple metaphors or symbols that sort of present this problem. And this relationship is how profound the writing can end up becoming, right? And we'll provide examples of that. There's all ends of the spectrum, right? You have very formulaic pop music that's being very surface and it's not trying to be too connective or revealing, versus totally deconstructed song structure that's very abstract, right? And everything in between. So there's a lot of ways to go about doing this, but training our mind on this, I feel is a good roadmap to be able to land those targets, right, of what we're trying to aim at. And ultimately, we're going to learn all these rules just to break them, because that's music and all art, really, is there is no one way. And ultimately, everything I tell you is sort of a caveat and an asterisk. But we'll go through that too. All of these things are kind of spectrum based. And that's the beauty in it. There's a lot of room for you to inject yourself. The goal is, again, to better navigate the space between you and that idea, right? The target you're trying to hit. And this is you over here, looking real happy that you're taking this course. But, right, the route is never directly linear, and there's a lot of different things you might have to do in order to box in this idea. But like Carl Jung said, people don't have ideas, ideas have people. So there is a bit of a chase involved, right? At first, the idea appears very close, and we feel like we got it, right? But the reality is, I think sometimes most of what it can offer to us is shrouded or distant. And really, what our work is to have refined good process as an artist for a route to get to that idea, to chase it down, to hunt it, to fix it into something useful, and not just like, oh, I had this cool idea. So my challenge to you, and this will be like the opening challenge of the course itself, like when listening to a song or any songs, like the next time you're just listening through Spotify or whatever, can you identify the problem that the song is presenting? Can you identify the metaphor or multiple metaphors or symbols of that problem? And we want to do this just to sort of train our own awareness to be able to extract meaning so that we can see and understand. And this sort of route, I find when you're able to do this to other work, it helps your mind train to think this way when you're making something. Maybe not in the flow of creating, right? That momentum we always want to ride in as unfiltered as we can to get everything out. But in terms of your editing process of like refining what you're trying to make, thinking in this path, as long as you're hitting these check marks and like obviously what you're making is palatable and catchy and good and you love it, that, you know, that's going to mean, all right, I sort of did something correct here. After you can do this a few times and you feel kind of comfortable doing this, then the challenge is like take a personal or observed problem that you feel most connected with right now. And what sort of metaphors and symbols can you brainstorm to represent that? So like just create associations. If you want to make a list, right? Like, oh, here's my problem. I feel lonely. I feel not good enough. I want somebody to love, right? Whatever. These are all famous tropes that people hit on a lot. What sort of metaphors and symbols can you come up with that are unique and creative that kind of represent that problem? And then from there, see what other associations and relations you can brainstorm, like whether it's like cool taglines or just words, just anything to have like things to draw from, right? And we just want to do this because good process and practice makes good writing, right? We want to chase inspiration, to cultivate inspiration in our life, and that's going to be through transmuting our own experiences and like the way we see the world. All right, so like, I mean, that's all I'm going to give you for now. But I'm not pretending like I have some sort of like, oh, magical blueprint or like I know something or I figured something out that no one else has. I have a deep, deep passion for this and it's helped me in life. I just feel like something like this can be a weapon for people, right? A way to have your own kind of therapy that's your own thing, whether you release music or not. Whether you record your songs or not, that's a whole other thing we'll get into. But yeah, I just think it's super useful, and if you're interested in it, I think I can help you. So if you sign up for the course or you have any questions, please just reach out. I'll be happy to talk to you about it. And if this is something that people are interested in, I'd be happy to offer it multiple times. It's just I can only take so many students at once and be like useful. All right. Thanks, guys.